Customer experience for us is incredibly important at ZSL, and particularly for me at Whipsnade Zoo, in that we have been around for a very long time, but obviously customer service and experience shifts, and it's important that we react and respond to that. Now, about 3 years ago, I started to sort of identify really that we didn't really have much in terms of good, solid, balanced feedback from our visitors. We had, all the sources that you'd expect, so TripAdvisor, Google reviews, and then obviously what we had coming into us. But I wanted to see what that in the moment kind of sentiment was, and that's where I then started to talk to Avius for the first time, and we spent a fair bit of time working out what would work for us. And then we started with, I think it was 6 or 7 terminals initially here. We've also got them in our London zoo. And overnight, really, we started to get some of that qualitative feedback that we were looking for. So those sort of patterns where people were leaving feedback, the kind of times, what was important to them, and then the trends. So I suppose one of the most important areas for me was catering on site. Now, our caterers are very good, but obviously food and drink is one of the most divisive things on the planet. So it's really interesting to kind of see what people's take on value for money is, food quality and service. So we focus primarily a lot of our efforts on getting that kind of feedback and then using that working with our partners. And the great thing about working with restaurant associates over the years is they've taken that feedback on board, they've worked with us. And where we started to see emerging trends around things such as grab and go food being more important than, say, sit down dining, they've helped us really sort of develop and push that with some of the investments they've done. And as a result, even this last August just gone, with some of the most positive results we've ever had from food and drink, both on the Avius terminals and through the other sources such as TripAdvisor and Google reviews. The next part of feedback really, and where that's going to take us in the next few years is Whipsnade in particular is in a unique position. We're going to have 2 major visitor attractions opening near us on our doorstep. So one hopefully will be Universal, and that's going to bring some great new visitors to the area and probably open up the market much more. But what we are going to need to do, and why it's really important to us, is we're going to need to respond to what our visitors are going to want and see. Now, I'm confident that we are going to offer a great alternative day out to what Universal would be, but we've also got Woburn, we've got Legoland, and we've got loads of other attractions all within an hour of us, and we're all going to be competing for the same group of people. So what we offer and what makes us unique is going to become so much more important. So where I'd like to see us use and work with Avius and other feedback mechanisms over the next few years is really getting under the skin of what visitors would like to see us do, evolve, and how we can diversify our offer to kind of make sure that we're competitive for another 200 years after our bicentenary next year. In terms of gathering the feedback, obviously we've got a bit of a mixture of things going on now at Whipsnade. I mean, we're now 3 years into our relationship with Avius, which is brilliant. We've got those fixed terminals that people can use more naturally and come against. But now it's going to be important for us to see what other technology we can leverage to garner more feedback from across the site. I think in terms of the way our team use it, we've got some great people that take that feedback, turn it into really good data, and we have our sort of our sessions where we go through that, respond to it, and work out where we need to focus our efforts. So the reason why this sort of this kind of information is so invaluable to us is it's helped us become much better at the decision making on, do we need to focus our efforts on improving our infrastructure, or is it just about the commercial offer and the food? What we're finding now is, with the terminals in particular, is they give us that much more balanced and objective view of what's going on our site. So our team are much more dialed into it, I think, and they're much more receptive when we give that feedback back to them as well, such as this is coming through, these are the patterns they're seeing. So they know that we're not just going to them with the negative reviews that easily come through on the likes of social media. It's more, here's what you're doing really well, here's how we can turn that into something better, and here's where we need to focus our efforts. So that's become really valuable and a great resource. And then we've also got people within our team as well. So we've got a visitor operations manager called Jenny, who I work with really closely, and she'll be the first one to come to me and tell me if there's a sort of certain pinch points or things that aren't quite working well on the site. and then we've got the data to back that up and use to kind of make those cohesive decisions for change. So moving into the future, obviously I've talked about Universal and how that's going to potentially change the market and how we need to respond. I think we're in a great position at ZSL at the moment where we're really starting to look at how the shape of our business looks, the kind of business model we have, and how our estates work for us. So we're all busy beavering away in the background on what our sort of master plans and plans for the future look like and where we're going to be spending our capital and our investments. We've got a great flavour for what we need. So for example, Whipsnade, that could be things like accommodation, but obviously we're in a very competitive attractions market. So feedback and data is so invaluable to us because it gives us the here and now, what visitors are looking about for, what they're feeling, and where we can use that to shape it. And obviously with the advance of things like AI and things like predictive analytics, all of this data that we're capturing on the regular is going to build the history of information around what Whipsnade is and what ZSL is. So we're having this discussion now about how valuable feedback is, but in the future I think data is king today, but it's going to be really important to shaping our future, so it's important we get it right. I'm working with Avius has been brilliant. I mean, I've worked with them before in other attractions, so it was a company that I was very much aware of. I think in terms of what they've been able to offer in terms of the technology, the terminals, working with us to kind of build our surveys to make sure they're unique to us and they're just not carbon copies of what you might see at other attractions, has been really useful because that's helped us tailor the feedback that we are trying to garner and source. And actually even today and talking to them on the regular and the chap Chris that we work with, it's really good to see how their technology is also evolving, keeping up with that, because I think you could easily get waylaid by all the advancements in AI, but it's great to see that that's all being built in and thought about, because I think that's going to become more and more prevalent as we go through as well. So it's been really great working with Avius today, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we do with them in the next sort of few years to come.